Trevino Coindreau, though, but it's the paper seemed to have your two last names. Which one do you ordinarily or officially use?
Hello?
It looks like she dropped off the meeting.
I think we lost her for some reason, Judge. Yolanda? No, she needs to log in. I mean, we were in the middle of talking to the judge. No, she's not. She's not on the screen. Yeah.
There she is.
I'm sorry, my internet went off.
Judge, we're back. Her internet went off.
All right. Are you do you have a driver's license?
Yes.
And what name does it have?
Yolanda Trevino Coindreau.
Yolanda Trevino what?
Coindreau.
Okay, so it does have the last two names.
Yes.
All right. Would you, Mr. Vela and Ms. Yolanda Trevino Coindreau, would you please raise your right hands? You solemnly swear that in this proceeding, the information and responses you submit will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
I swear.
I swear, Your Honor.
Thank you very much. Y'all can both put your hand down. You are each charged with the offense of driving while intoxicated. And it's my understanding that you have come to an agreement, a plea bargain. Before we do that, I need to discuss several things with you. First of all, you have certain rights and protections. They apply to each of you individually. Each of you has the right to remain silent. That means you do not have to say or make any kind of statement. You don't have to answer questions. You don't have to submit paperwork that has your signature, especially papers that admit or confess to wrongdoing. You each have the right to a jury trial in your particular case. That's a means by which you and your attorney, working with the state, would select 6 disinterested citizens from a pool of disinterested citizens, a jury pool, that would hear any evidence, observe any witnesses, and any materials that would be submitted, if any. And those 6 people would decide individually for you whether you have been found not guilty or whether you have been proven guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. That's the right of a jury trial. If either of you in your own capacity decides to go to trial, you would each have the right with your attorney to question, cross-examine, or challenge any witness that would testify. That's called the right of confrontation of witnesses. You each individually have the right to appeal. That's essentially a right where you yourself or your attorney by himself or the two of you together could demand that a higher court review the official record and evidence in this case for the purpose of answering whatever legal challenges you might have. That right, I caution you, is difficult to do. It is critically important, but it is difficult to do because you have timelines that you have to follow, and you have documents and information that are required. Nonetheless, it's an important right that I want you to be aware of. Finally, each of you, and in each of your cases, the state also has the right to demand that this proceeding be held in the open public courtroom.
Well, I'm on
Because,
a- do-
because,
Yeah, I'll call you back.
because of the COVID pandemic, we're not doing that. Instead, we're handling these hearings, as you can see, by computer. It's called video conference. But to do that, each of you had to sign a document that's titled, first of all, it identifies each of you by name, case number, and court number. Then it has a title, Defendant's Consent to Video Conference. The state has to sign one too. Did each of you sign a document that says that you consent to this video conference? Ms. Trevino Condro,
Yes.
Mr. Vela.
Yes, sir.
All right. Each of you, in each of your individual cases, there's several documents that have your signature. The ones that have your signature in these cases, did each of you have the guidance and the legal counsel of your attorneys and before you signed it? Mr. Vela,
Yes, sir.
Ms. Trevino Condro.
Yes.
All right. Among those papers, there's one that's called or titled, again, identifies you individually, and it's titled Defendant's Waiver of Constitutional Rights and Court's Admonitions. I've been talking to you all briefly about your rights and protections. That document particularly has in writing a repetition, a reminder, an acknowledgement from each of you about your rights and protections. Did each of you sign that document? Ms. Trevino Condro,
Yes.
Mr. Vela.
Yes, sir.
All right. That document also tells you that any deal that you've made is not binding on me as a judge. For each case to proceed, I have to say yes or no to your plea bargain. I also have the right to impose punishment. And if I impose a punishment within the legal range for the particular case that you're pleading to, the particular offense, even if I give you a punishment that's heavier than you agreed to, that is legal for me to do. However, if I reject your deal, either one of you individually, or I give you a punishment that's heavier than what you agreed to, in either one of those two cases, the law would allow you to start all over again, and nothing that you've said or signed up till now would be used against you. Is that understood from that document, Ms. Trevino Condro?
Yes.
Mr. Vela?
Yes, sir.
Another document that I want to point out to you is simply one that's titled Trial Court's Certification of Defendant's Right of Appeal. You reviewed that document, and it tells you in there, because you're making your own agreement, your own deal, you give up the right to appeal. Did you see and understand and sign that, Mr. Vela?
Yes, sir.
Ms. Trevino?
Yes, sir.
Each of you also signed a document entitled Application for Deferred Adjudication. You're each going to get deferred adjudication. Deferred adjudication is an important benefit that your attorneys have gotten for you. Briefly, it is a form of probation, or what they call community supervision. It is very critically important that you understand that you are entering a written, legal, binding agreement with this court. And in that agreement, I will grant you deferred adjudication, which means I will not find you guilty of the charge. And if you live up to 100% of the conditions of supervision, then your case, the case that you plead to, will be dismissed, and you're under Texas law, you're not convicted. Now, The bad side is if you mess up, if you fail or refuse to live up to 100% of the conditions of supervision, then what happens is the state may ask me to give you official notice, bring you in for a hearing. And if, in my opinion, based on the evidence submitted, I believe it is within the law, then I can give you a final conviction that would follow you the rest of your life. And you'd be looking at 100% of the punishment being a fine from $0 to $2,000 and jail from 0 days to 180 days. Is that clear? Ms. Trevino?
Yes, sir.
And Mr. Vela?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Ms. Trevino, the state has a motion. State,
Yes, Your Honor, the state would move to amend the information, adding count 2 of obstruction, and then would further move to proceed solely on count 2.
all right. Mr. Sharman, is there any objection?
No objection.
And do you also waive the 10-day notice of amendment?
We do.
Then I grant the motion. Mr. Trevino, you're no longer charged with driving while intoxicated. You're now charged with obstruction of a passageway, highway, or waterway. Now, to that charge, how do you plead, ma'am?
Excuse me?
To the charge of obstruction of a passageway, highway, or waterway, how do you plead?
You're pleading guilty, man.
Guilty.
Do you understand that that's what you're doing?
Yes.
Okay. Based on your plea of guilty and the evidence, I find that that there's sufficient evidence to find you guilty, but I do not, because we're going to grant you deferred adjudication. Before I continue on the punishment, tell me how, do you have children that you support?
No.
All right. And what's your income, ma'am? What do you earn? Total income?
My total income?
Yeah, what do you earn? How do you support yourself?
Oh, by working in a company, in my father's company.
And how much do you get paid per month?
Per month, I'll say about like 1,000 a month.
How much?
1,000 a month.
You sound like you're not sure. 1,000 a month isn't much. Are you working 40 hours a week?
I'm working like part-time sometimes, and some other days I do full-time.
All right. Okay. I grant you 16 months deferred adjudication. You are fined $400 plus court costs. You are to perform the DWI education. You are to complete the DWI education programs. You're to submit to a TAP evaluation. You will perform 60 hours of community service restitution. You will have, for a continuous 8 months, ignition interlock installed in your vehicle. You will make a one-time payment of $50 to Crime Stoppers. There will be no early termination of your probation. You waive the right to request expunction or non-disclosure. There's
I don't
restitution.
think we agreed to that.
Sir?
We did not agree to waiving a right to a petition for non-disclosure.
Okay, that was in the documents. Ms. Haas?
I'll agree to leave that open. We can
All right, then
do that on record.
Linda, in the judge's notes, make sure that that is removed from the judge's notes, the waiver of the right for expunction or non-disclosure.
Okay, I will put a line to it.
Mr. Sharman, do you do agree to the no early termination?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. I believe, is that the sum total of the agreement that y'all have reached, Mr. Sharman?
Judge, I think they've agreed to accept her. She's already done the victim impact panel and the DWI education class, and she's given $350 to the food bank. I thought that they would agree that she's in compliance already with those.
Okay, I will give you credit for the DWI education, the community service restitution, likewise.
And the
What
victim
else?
impact panel.
The victim impact panel,
Yes, sir.
you are granted credit for that also. That leaves you only mainly the supervision, the ignition interlock, and the restitution, which is to be determined. All right. Any questions, Ms. Yolanda Trevino Coindro?
Mm.
All right, that completes. Now, I need you to do two things. One, don't leave this hearing until you meet with Ms. Maricela Luna.
Okay.
You can see her there on the screen. She will get you started on the probation program. For
Okay.
both of you, and for you and Mr. Vela, I need you to be aware that the probation office is going to wind up reading to you every one of your conditions. You're going to sign them. They're going to put a copy in your hands. You will not be able to come back to me and say, I didn't know that was a condition, because you will know exactly what the conditions are. Is that clear, Ms. Yolanda Trevino Cuendro?
Yes.
All right, Mr. Vela, you understand that?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. So, Mr. Sharman, thank you. You're at this time, unless you choose otherwise, you're excused.
Supervisory fee on Trevino.
I'm sorry, the supervisory fee in your case, ma'am, will be $25 a month.
Mr. Sharman, can you please email me the DWI Ed, DIP, and then the donation?
Yes, I'll get that right now.
Thank you.
All right. Mr. Vela. Does the state, do you have a motion in this case?
No, Your Honor, the state's proceeding as charged.
I'm sorry?
No, Your Honor.
Okay, so,
Your Honor, it's deferred on the DWI.
right.
And just before we get started, that box was checked, just like it was for Mr. Sharman, that we couldn't apply for deferred, but that wasn't part of our agreement.
Okay,
I couldn't
Is it
uncheck it. And as you know, we've had a little, quite a journey to get this done today. So I just wanted to get things done as quickly as
are you in
possible.
agreement with that, Ms. Haas?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. Then likewise in Ms. Flores, if it's in the notes, make sure that's deleted. All right, Mr. Vela, to the charge of driving while intoxicated first, how do you plead, sir?
No contest.
All right, a no contest plea is considered a guilty plea in this court and is sufficient for me to convict you. Do you understand that?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. I believe I do have in the notes that they have waived the expungement and non-disclosure that's to be removed.
Thank you, Your Honor.
I
Thank you.
accept your plea of no contest based on your plea and the evidence. I find there's sufficient evidence to find you guilty, but I do not. Instead, you will be granted $12 months deferred adjudication. Before I impose the rest of the sentence, do you have children that you support, Mr. Vela?
No, sir.
All right, now what are your earnings per month?
I'm currently a student right now, sir. I go to school.
Where you go to school?
South Texas Vocational Tech.
All right.
It's a
And
trade school.
how are you being supported? Is your family supporting you?
My sister.
All right. Oh, each of you, by the way, Ms. Trevino, I guess she's visiting. All right, you have to come in and have your thumbprint placed on the documents in accordance with law. You are fined $500. How long have you been going to school?
It's been about 6 months now, sir.
How much longer you got?
I only have 4 months until I graduate.
And in what are you graduating?
Should be April.
I know, but what are you studying?
Oh, it's for air conditioning, HVAC.
Okay. You are fined $500. Because you're unemployed, I'm gonna probate half of that.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Thank you, Your Honor.
You'll perform 50 hours of community service. You know what, make it, since I cut the fine, I want you to do 60 hours of community service. Maybe you can help some old folks that need help with their HVAC or something.
Yes, sir.
I need you to document it. You'll do a $50 payment to Crime Stoppers. You'll submit to a TAP evaluation and recommendation subject to my approval. You will do the Victim Impact Panel live. You'll do the DWI education program. You'll do the DOEP, that's the Drug Offender Education Program. The court will take in consideration case number 643350. That case is hereby dismissed. You'll submit regular UAs, that is regular urine samples for analysis. You're not to be messing with any illegal drugs. You understand that?
Yes, sir.
If you want to get convicted and be put in jail, mess around with drugs and get caught, because that's part of the condition. No illegal drugs, no alcohol, nada. All right. Your supervisory fee is also going to be the minimum, which is $25 a month. Questions, Mr. Vela,
No, sir.
Mr. Cortez?
No, Your Honor, thank you.
All right. And state, Ms. Haas, any questions?
No, Your Honor.
All righty. Don't forget, you got to meet with Ms. Luna. She's right there on the screen. She'll also get started. Ms. Luna, have you released Ms. Trevino Condro?
Yes, Your Honor, I did. All
Okay.
done.
I forgot to tell her about the thumbprint. We'll have to let her know, Ms. Flores.
Yeah, she can't use my clients though.
Okay.
All right,
Thank you, Your
then
Honor.
this concludes our 2 hearings.
All right, Your Honor.
Thank you, everybody.
Have a good day. See you.
Thank
Everybody
you,
stay
Judge. See you
safe.
tomorrow morning.
Thanks, Ashley. Bye.
Thanks, Adam.
Thanks.
What was the offense for this last case?
DWI,
Okay,
they were
All
both
right.
DWI, but this one just did not get obstruction. It's going straight on DWI first, but there will be a deferred if he
okay.
completes- if he lives up to his word.
All right, thank you, Judge. I'll go to breakout room right now, Linda. Thank you.
Okay.
Okay. Good deal. That's all, folks.
Okay, Judge.
Have you sent me Linda, have you sent me the docket for tomorrow?
It should have already been sent. I sent that out yesterday.
Check for it in a little bit. How many cases do we have tomorrow?
I have,
Tomorrow's Wednesday, right? I'm
yes,
thinking it's Wednesday already, no.
there's 51, but there might be less than that.
Okay, well, that's better than the 83 today.
Yes.
Okay, Mija.
Okay.
We'll see you later. I'm available on the phone and on the computer.
Okay, Judge. All right. See you later.
Okie dokie.
All right. Bye-bye.
Good work.
Thank you. this is Linda. Hey. Yeah, well, I'm waiting on Marty, but question. What was said that he asked me on Bella? Somebody walked in and oh, okay. Well, he didn't write it, but I took it off of the agreement. Okay. Okay, I did that. I know. It's going. I mean, it's going. I'm getting situated. I was kind of bummed about myself because I wanted to come in Saturday and work on some stuff that Patty left because I told her, don't worry, just leave it. Now I'm like, I wish I would have never said that. But no, I don't mind. It's just a lot, and then trying to get the feel, and stuff. And I think I'm finally getting it,
Linda, I had a question.
Hold on. Yes.
Oh, I'm sorry.